Hello, everyone. This is Greg, your host of Goddamn Gamecube. Welcome to Season 3. If you enjoy listening to our show, consider subscribing to us on YouTube for exclusive video content. Thank you and enjoy today's episode. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Goddamn Gamecube. Greg and Beppe are your hosts today. And today we're going to be finishing off the Silent Hill trilogy with Silent Hill 3. This is a fan favorite. I don't really know why. We're going to discuss this. It's a sequel to the first game. Beppe, take it away. Let's go.
Yes. So I played this immediately after 2 at your behest. I experienced the same kind of... We talked a lot last time about how I couldn't see anything with Silent Hill 2. Same deal here. It honestly, overall, I would say that this game reminded me a lot of like Resident Evil 3, where they're kind of recycling stuff.
Yeah.
Not everything. There are some kind of interesting, unique locales, but a little bit of a shorter length as well. Do you remember how this game starts?
I think you're in a shopping mall, right?
Yeah, but there's like a dream sequence where you're in an amusement park. And it's very strange. Gives you a good taste of what's to come, which is bullshit deaths. A lot of those. That's kind of...
Isn't the intro you get hit by like a roller coaster or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you wake up in a diner.
Yeah.
And it's you are shortly approached by a private investigator. I should say you play as a girl in this game, unlike the first two. Heather is her name, and you're approached by a PI named Douglas. His voice actor is terrible.
Yep. Yes.
No offense to the man himself. I just mean the performance is not very good.
Yeah, it's really bad,
in my opinion. He is trying to contact you about like, oh, I've been trying to find you, and she's like, fuck off, whatever. She escapes like out a back alley or whatever. And you're in a mall, and all of a sudden you start getting that Silent Hill stuff coming back,
and you get the meat grinders and the chains and
all your favorite stuff is back. I think the mall is a great concept for a horror location. You know, it's been in countless movies, but especially Silent Hill, I think it's a cool idea. I think it's mostly it's just kind of wasted. The low visibility really killed it for me, and the backtracking. There's a ton of backtracking. In this game.
The first level's incredibly annoying.
It just really lets it down, and then the other world, as always, makes it worse.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're just trying to get out of the mall essentially, make your way back home. There's the enemy palette in this game is very bizarre. I couldn't really make out a ton of what I was looking at. There's some kind of these guys that have big arms. Most
the big
of the
like
time.
Nightmare Before Christmas monsters.
Yeah, exactly. And they're everywhere. And there's some like generic kind of dogs that are similar to the ones from the first game. There's some like big, huge, like fat guys that are kind of just in your way.
Yeah.
They're like lying on the floor half the time, like Snorlax.
Yeah.
Weird kind of start to this game. I think there's an early boss that I did like. It was like a big worm.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy looking. It has like very like human looking teeth, which I thought was strange. I liked it. It was pretty effectively designed. I got to give credit where it's due, Then we get into you go down to the subway.
I hate this. What have we said like on every episode of Goddamn Gamecube? The sewer level is always the fucking worst.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's awful. It is very just more backtracking. There's going to be a lot of complaining in this episode.
Dude, I mean, we should just talk about it. Like, I hate all the one-hit deaths in this part. Like, you just can just get hit by the train.
Yeah, so I'll say something that I liked. There is a little optional side story. I don't know if you either experienced or remember, where it's like a ghost. And you find kind of a memo or a newspaper or something about someone who flung themselves off the onto the tracks. And if you go down there to that station, the ghost will push you onto the tracks.
Oh really?
Yeah, but it gives you time to get back up. Like you hear the train in the distance.
Yep.
You hear you see the light coming in the distance, gives you a chance to clamber back onto the platform.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it does not do that during the mandatory section, where if you have to go onto the tracks for a different reason and get to, there's like a little door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember this.
And all of a sudden the train's coming. Oh no, you have a finite amount of time. If you go too far in the opposite direction, it just shows up and steamrolls you. I don't
understand this. Do you know what I didn't understand about this part? I could probably look this up.
Yeah.
Is it by time or is it by script? Like, do you have a certain amount of time to get out of the way?
If you go too far in one direction, it just shows up without warning.
Yep.
If you do this thing that you're supposed to do, which I had to consult a guide to even figure this out, is approach this little door that you never even wind up going into, I don't think. But you go down onto the tracks, and then some monsters show up, and you have to clamber back onto the platform before the train shows up, right?
Okay.
This is where the camera really started to frustrate me,
Yeah,
because
me too.
if you tap X, that's what you need to do to get back onto the platform, but it'll also pivot your character towards the nearest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, fuck, stop locking onto the dog. Like I'm trying
up.
to like, give me like, oh my God. It's just like, yeah, it's an old game, but it's like
but I think it's poorly designed.
This is the same year that I think Wind Waker came out, 2003. That's my frame of reference. Like, what's the nearest Nintendo title, I guess? And like, come on, like we didn't have that problem in that game.
No, I agree. It's just, I think it's bad game design. When it's a horror game, there are limited saves. They're far apart. Don't make me like fucking retread over because of one hit. There's a couple of them in this part.
Yeah.
It really irritates me.
Quite a few. Interesting that you mentioned the saves. Is that symbol? I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
the culty symbol.
She's like, I get a headache every time I look at it. It kind of like it's interesting foreshadowing in a little way. But you wind up you get out of the subway. You go to a construction site for 2 seconds. I was like, oh, kind of an interesting area. No, we're just gonna
not really
right by it. Then there is an office building, which is also kind of underutilized. Sort of just I don't know, I felt like you were really booking it through this game. Did it take you long to beat the first time you played it?
No, what was this, a 5-hour game? Less than that?
For me, I think it was 4
yeah
altogether.
It's short.
I guess under normal circumstances, the second game would have taken me about 6 or 7.
Yeah, in my most recent playthrough of Silent Hill 2, I think was 7 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, already kind of a short experience, and then this one is even shorter. It's just kind of the same experience as the mall when you get into that office building. It's just like, it's really dark. I need to get out of here. It is, you run into that guy, Vincent.
Yeah.
Who is he reminds me of Otacon from Metal Gear a little bit, but he's deliberately very cryptic, but I didn't find his character interesting at all.
Nope, me either.
It's revealed by him kind of anticlimactically that this has all been a sequel to the first game.
Yep.
And like, many years later, 18 years later or whatever. And it's so funny because I keep coming back to the Candyman, but it's like that was the premise of the new one, is that 18 years later or whatever, the child that was at the center of the whole conflict has grown up, and it's about them now. And it could have been handled so much better.
Doesn't it just feel very much like, I don't even know how to describe this. It just feels like it makes sense that you're going to involve like the half devil child from the first game. Yep. But it's like, it's just so like, oh, are we about to get into the apartment part where you meet Harry dead?
I was upset.
I mean, I was upset too, but I was just like, oh, so he's just not in it. They just kill him off.
Yeah,
off
he has no lines.
He's just like slumped in a chair.
I was like, no, come on, not my man Harry.
Not my man. I know, but it's like, it's one of these things where like it makes sense that they're trying to like, continue the conflict, or you weren't gonna be able to hide Cheryl forever,
right?
But like Harry's just not in it. He's just dead. Like, I don't understand.
He should have really just to me this felt like a very limited resources game.
It does.
Like very kind of we need another one. The
Yep.
second one was really successful. Like, let's get it out.
I don't even think the concept is bad. I just think it's very short. There's a lot of, I think, questionable gameplay decisions with a lot of one-hit death mechanics.
Yeah.
And they tried to expand combat, but it didn't really work. And I don't know.
I don't know. That's generous.
That's
like
generous.
Expanding combat.
Generous.
But I before we get too far, I didn't want to skip over maybe my least favorite part of this entire game.
Oh, please.
There's a part where you're stuck in, I think, the office building, and this big kind of monstrous entity is blocking your way out. It's just like a blob or something. And you find these notes that are like, it's sort of implying the first two games are very kind of, a lot of the puzzles are solvable via kind of exploring the metaphor. Like, how does this apply to what I'm doing? And it's sort of like you're following a fairy tale in excerpts for like how to like, I was like, how am I gonna get around this monster? What's gonna be the thing? And the end of the fairy tale is like, she just said like the magic words, whatever, and Heather says them out loud, and all of a sudden you hear this big whooshing noise, and when you go back out in the hallway, the monster's gone. I'm like, fuck you.
Like, why was this
like,
a
you
solution?
don't even see it happen,
Dude.
Like, oh well, it's you just say the magic words and it's gone. Like, dude, come on.
Okay.
This is coming on the heels of like how mature the second one was.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like,
it's the same team too.
that's like what really
frightening.
shocks me. It's like,
Yeah.
they did they just get it right accidentally last time? Like,
So, I mean, listen, man, I've said this a couple of times. There are only two good ones, and this game is not one of them.
yeah. So at this point, you find Harry dead, unfortunately.
Find your dad dead
It's pretty sad. You kill this babyish monster that killed him. It's very
with the kind of kill the propeller man from Resident Evil 8 on the roof.
Oof. Yeah, it's very very anticlimactic. I feel like it like that. I mean, at that point, I was like, okay, like, get me into the game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm energized. Like, I don't like that they killed my man. And you kind of you kill the monster.
Well, this
kill
is
them
where you meet
immediately.
Claudia, right? Because doesn't she mock you?
I think maybe earlier. I forgot about her.
Right. But you know what I mean? Where like I think she's in the apartment with you, and like
Yeah.
she mocks you.
She's
And
sort of the main villain of this game.
yeah, and then you kind of go up to the roof and kill the murderer, which is this monster. This is
Yeah.
where like this game, I don't like it
Mhm.
because I feel like the first two games, even though I'm partial to the second one,
Mhm.
the first two games have a pretty clear delineation. There is a real world, there is another world. Monsters exist in one of them.
Right.
In this game, I'm like, what's happening? Like,
Not well. They exist in both. In the other ones.
no, what I'm saying is just like, well, but Heather was in the mall and now there are people, but then she goes to the Otherworld mall and there are monsters.
Yeah.
But then she goes to her apartment, but her dad's dead. But now Claudia's here, but now there's a monster on the roof, but there's no one around. It doesn't make enough like reality sense for
Yeah.
me. How does no one else know this is happening?
I don't
understand this.
Well, I would say that that's a gripe I have with all three is that that line isn't drawn clearly.
yeah,
enough. I just think in general, when it comes to, cultural differences, maybe like the story structure maybe is different in Japan, whatever, but I feel like there was a right way to do this and this just wasn't it.
It wasn't it. Yeah.
Like in terms of get you into the story, like, oh no, you killed Harry, whatever, and that's like you forestall that catharsis until later.
Yep.
And that's like how you really fucking that maybe even his death shouldn't have happened until later. Maybe he's with you.
Do you think maybe you should have played as him? I thought maybe that would be smarter.
No, I mean, I think it's fine that you play as her, but having him be kind of
in the game for a little bit,
Yeah.
rather than he just shows up as a corpse.
This is a little bit of a off-kilter reference here, but Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
Where in the first game you were playing as Soap, and then you see Soap as a character in the second one.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of learn about him a little bit. Yeah, something like that, where he's kind of a presence instead of just a corpse. That'd be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
honestly, I kind of laughed the first time I
Like,
played it when
what?
I said Harry's just fucking dead, just like eviscerated in an armchair. Why?
It's just
There's another weird part right there too, where like you just like put a blanket over him in his bed with a bunch of flowers on it.
Yes.
What the fuck? Like, what is that? Wait a minute. So let's parse this all out. You go to the place where you live.
Yeah.
This is your house. Your dad is eviscerated by a monster. You go to the roof and you kill the monster. You don't like call the authorities.
Well,
you don't
to be fair, not to interrupt what would have been a really funny point, but
Yeah.
they do mention that nobody answers. Like they call like an ambulance.
They do?
Like I called 911, no one answered or whatever.
It's just like, why this game just like, I feel like I know Silent Hill 1 and 2 are sort of fantastical.
Yeah.
But like this game is not grounded in enough reality for me.
Yeah.
Like it's too bizarre.
It like the way people are reacting
It's strange.
is just too strange.
And I just feel like in Silent Hill 2, the voice acting is very stilted and weird. It's probably accidental and the actors are not good.
Yeah.
But the game has a lot to do with like mental illness and these people are going through a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
In this game, it's just poorly performed.
Sure,
And it's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
They're just gonna put fucking lilies all over him in his bed with a sheet. What the fuck? It's
See-
really weird.
See you later, Harry.
Yeah, see ya, I guess. Bye, Dad. I'll be home later.
Yeah, you know, what a way for him to go out after all the hell he went through in the first game. He killed like a fucking god at the end of it.
Now he's just dead in a chair.
He just yeah, he passed out watching the 49ers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, so that is when you transition into Silent Hill proper.
Yes.
You get a little car ride with she decides to trust the PI because there's nobody else
Nothing
around.
else that you can do.
Yeah, you get a kind of a big exposition dump about, you know, the events of the first game and how they tie into this one. It's very this is another point to your point where they stay at that motel from the second game and I'm like, you could really stay anywhere. There's nobody around.
Yeah, and it's also like I don't understand. Like, did your dad not tell you you've been being hidden the entire time? Maybe not, but like you're gonna go to Silent Hill and stay at this hotel. Just like I don't understand. Does Silent Hill exist as a real town? And for some people, it doesn't. Why would you stay at this place? Why
Yeah.
would you do that? You're gonna go into like the heart of the storm here and just fucking get a room key. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like what I also don't understand is like you start the game outside of Silent Hill. Why is there an other world? Is Claudia making it? Like is she magical? Like do you get what I'm saying?
Well, this is where it's a positive in the previous game, it's a negative in this one where they leave things open to interpretation because they knew they had a clear idea and concept for the second game, and this one it's very loose.
Do you understand what I'm saying though? It's like if Silent Hill is this place where you go to get punished,
Yeah.
and you go there and you're drawn there, why is Heather being fucked up a million towns over? I don't understand. Like, is Claudia making this? If so, is this a magic game? I don't get this. Like, it's not grounded in enough reality.
Can it happen anywhere? I don't know.
Fuck.
That's the question.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really strange. The hospital is a big retread.
Huge retread.
It was a very kind of, we got to recycle this content. I liked actually a lot the Stanley side story. Do you remember that?
No, not a lot, but yeah.
He's leaving you like love notes and like a little doll.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Very engrossing, kind of like I didn't know where it was leading, and it's kind of that he winds up being like a body that you find somewhere who was dead the whole time. So strange. And then you fight that guy Leonard in the basement.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I don't know, man. I mean, like he was weird looking, he was creepy looking, but he calls you on the phone a couple times.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. And if you eventually fight him, he's just like a big monster in the basement. I don't know. You said this before. I don't understand how you can have such like care and intellect in the second game, and the third one's just like, oh, creepy man, oh, creepy bunny, that's bloody. Like I don't get it. Just throwing shit at the wall. Yeah, it felt very random. You wind up back at the amusement park from your dream.
Yeah,
and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Resident Evil 7, where you watch that guy on the videotape.
Great part of that game.
And then you you learn from his failure. Mm-hmm. You learn from your failure in the dream to circumvent the roller coaster.
Yeah,
pretty cool idea.
Uh-oh.
You still like wind up jumping off the tracks at the end though, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Okay.
Another concept I thought was great was the haunted house, but this is also ruined by the one-hit deaths.
Yeah.
You get chased by that red vampire mist,
and
it's
you just
chasing you around the corners, and you just die instantly. I'm just like, what am I doing?
This is just not the kind of game to do that.
No, definitely not. The carousel puzzle was kind of grim and interesting. I thought the boss fight was kind of interesting with the ghost of Alessa or whatever.
Oh, sure, okay.
Where she, for some reason, she has a machine gun.
Yeah,
at one point.
I don't know.
I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, compared to some of the other boss fights, I thought it was interesting because it's kind of going back to the Sybil one in the first game.
Yeah, kind of a throwback.
Yeah,
but that boss was way cooler.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. I loved the mirror sequence.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about that?
Only a little, but go ahead.
It's a tiny little.
It's a tiny
it may
section.
even be missable. Is that you walk into this room with a big mirror, and all these kind of strands start appearing all over the place, like tendrils of like dark red or dark black, you know, kind of enveloping the room slowly but surely, and your character models, like in the reflection, starts getting bloody, and it's just like I think if you stand there long enough, you die.
You get a game over. Yeah,
but it's a cool visual moment for sure. Which I just wish this game had more of that, where it's just kind of.
This game just feels very disconnected. Even when you get a moment like that, where is this coming from?
Where is it coming from? Where is it going?
I don't know.
It's in the middle of a bunch of other stuff. You get up to kind of the final locale is the church. It's mainly a slog, I'm gonna be honest.
Yep.
It's more of the same of what we've been experiencing. A handful of compelling moments, I will say, which I'd like to talk about. I thought, even how much I've complained about not being able to see anything, they do a pretty good job at one point with your vision blurring.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember much about that.
Yeah, I do.
It's kind of when the other world is phasing in and out, and it's the way they made it look is it's just disorienting enough to make me appreciate the artistic nature of it instead of just being annoyed.
Yeah,
which is the case for a lot of
for
stuff
most of these
this
other games.
I really liked the whole tarot concept towards the end. I don't know how well it holds up to scrutiny when you actually take the puzzle into consideration.
Sure.
But I did want to talk a little bit about that, if that's okay, just because I
Go
find
ahead.
it so interesting. And something I found interesting about the first game is the way that they handle the supernatural and the occult. It's very kind of unlike other games. The explanation of the concept, you pick up like a book or there's like some memos about it trying to just teach you about how it works and how you're going to solve the puzzle and everything, and I thought it was pretty like intellectually nourishing and thought-provoking compared to the rest of the game, especially
which is a lot of nothing,
which is a huge contrast. I think the context and importance is kind of nebulous. I mean, like, what does it really have to do with, you know, the end game? Like, it's like to open a door essentially. But it is interesting, and essentially what they wind up referring to is like the principal like tarot deck, and then you have the 22 cards or whatever, and then the 4 cards that don't belong to it, that they're basically, because of those 4 cards that don't belong there, are inherently inhuman in nature and kind of relating to the divine, because the whole we didn't even talk about the fucking premise of this game.
Oh, right, because it's so stupid.
Is that they're trying to resurrect God, right?
Yeah,
God,
great, like the first one.
In quotes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a less successful version of what they did in the first one.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, well, what they're trying to do is like they're trying to have Heather birth the new like God figure, essentially.
Well, yeah, because in the first game, the reason they kidnap her is because they say she will become the mother to God.
Because she was like one half of Alessa or something, right? She was another manifestation or something, like it was like a split, like a I hate to say Beyond Two Souls, but kind of right.
Where Alessa split herself to prevent it from happening.
Or something like that.
Once she died, she transferred her consciousness to somebody. I don't know. But the context is really interesting when it comes to the tarot, because you're talking about all these different. They mention a little bit towards the end how the religion of Silent Hill evolved over time, and how like everything else, and there's all these kind of different, Judeo-Christian concepts at play, and how, are you familiar at all with like the Tetragrammaton or anything like that?
No.
Okay, so it's basically like kind of like a I don't want to like butcher this explanation, but in terms of like you're talking about a 4-letter or 4-syllable word that is supposed to represent God.
Okay.
And it's in Hebrew, it's written out, but it's unpronounceable because there's no vowels. And it's so cool because like it's like I guess the closest would be YHWH.
Okay.
And you hear Yahweh is one
potential
pronunciation, but you have like the 4-letter or 4-syllable word, and then you have the 4 cards that aren't part of the deck, and that they represent the divine, and it's pretty cool. Like it's kind of connecting it together in a way, and they call it like the major arcana is the main one, and it's I enjoyed for a second playing this game because I am interested in that stuff, and
and they tried to connect they're getting you to birth a god. They're putting these references in here,
stuff that was a lot more present in the first game, and then I'm just latching onto whatever I can as we get into the final nonsense. So now we're gonna get into your favorite part.
This is my favorite part. Like it's my favorite part because of how disgusting and how hilarious it is.
Yeah.
I hope everyone knows what I'm about to be talking about. Also, spoilers here.
We're getting into the end here.
Yeah, so I kept joking to you like over Facebook chat or whatever that this is the pro-life section.
Sure.
And and I've been waiting to talk about this with someone for like 20 years. Because in this section, essentially, you get to a conflict with Claudia,
right?
And you're getting close to the I guess the birthing of the god,
but like I thought it was going to be a lot worse, to be honest with you, where Heather is like holding her stomach and everything, and I'm like, oh no, are you gonna have to like give birth to the god?
No,
and so essentially you have this pendant around your neck that Harry gave you a long time ago, and what you don't realize until the pivotal moment is that it's filled with that vial,
the red liquid,
and she ingests it. A very, very kind of touchy imagery there, where she's taking a pill because of whatever is living inside her, and then she throws it up. Thank God. And it's just it's a very like bloodborne kind of like disgusting.
So essentially, she throws up the baby.
Yeah.
She throws up the little demon god baby fetus thing, and this is where I recoil in disgust, and I also laugh my ass off.
Oh yeah.
Claudia eats the baby.
Yeah.
Like I
guess I'll do it.
I guess. Fuck it. I'll fucking do it.
I'm like, I guess I'm glad that works that way. I'm glad you figured it out.
I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I said, oh, okay, this game, not only do I absolutely hate it, and I think it's hilarious, this is awful. Like, it's really funny and really disgusting, and I laughed my ass off.
At least it made me feel something. I mean, at least it was like imagery that was new to me and I hadn't seen before, and it was very kind of visceral. And after that, I completely checked out.
Oh, me too.
But it was a very memorable moment.
Isn't that the final boss? Like, don't you?
Well, she falls down a hole, and then you go down there, and then you fight God,
which is like this half woman thing that you just beat up with a samurai sword or something.
I didn't get it. Yeah, you that's like the fastest way to kill it, I think.
Oh,
and
really?
it reminded me a lot of the end of Majora's Mask.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of like the goofy one.
Yeah, where he's kind of dancing. That weird shit.
Like because I didn't think it was intimidating like the first 2 final bosses at all. I just thought like, all right, let's get this game over with.
It's just really odd. Like this game just like gives me a headache. Where I'm like, the demon eating the demon baby was like kind of funny, but like then it just kind of gets right to the final boss and. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like,
Claudia kills Vincent by stabbing him in the back. I'm like, oh, well, get rid of this character. Okay.
I guess. And there's a lot of throwaway characters, like throwaway concepts.
Well, also earlier, Douglas is going to shoot you because he thinks that will end the Silent Hill nonsense. Maybe. But at the end, once you kill the final boss, she like acts like she's gonna kill him and then doesn't.
She's like kidding.
I'm like, what is this?
What's going on? You're talking about that, the normal ending where you
Right.
kind of you look like you're possessed, but you're joking.
Yeah, I'm like,
why are you
dude,
joking around? I don't understand.
I mean, I to get him back maybe, but I don't know. Like,
they didn't pull that off very well.
This is where the disconnect happens, where I wouldn't do that in real life. So why?
No way.
You know?
I mean, I guess there is one kind of cool thing. If you, so there is a moment right before you fight the final boss where, like, if you choose to shoot Claudia, it's game over and you birth the god, but it doesn't really show you. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, I did read something.
You
about
have to
that.
use an item. It gives you control of Heather, and you have to use the item during that cutscene.
Well, the whole thing, or so they say, in the process of the game, is that she's kind of doing like a Star Wars Emperor thing, where she's like, "I can feel your anger," like you're like, you know, and the more hate that brews in Heather, like the more nourishing to the god it is.
Yeah,
and then like. At the end, presumably, if you give in to that, that's when it will reach maturity or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. Like the end of that game, what did you feel the first time you played it?
Nothing. Like I didn't understand the entire experience.
Did you? I mean, okay, so you played the second one first, right? And then you played the first one.
Yeah, I played 2, 1, 3.
And so, I mean, I know you just said this, but like. Assuming that this was going to be like the end, like what did you walk out of that experience with? I just like I played all of these like in high school, like kind of back to back to back. Yeah.
My experience with the third one was kind of a head scratcher where I said, I get it, where they're trying to, Heather is now grown up, or Cheryl has grown up, and they're trying to recall the first game. I actually thought it was really cool how Silent Hill 2 is not a sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
Where the third one is.
Yeah.
But it's just handled with so many throwaway ideas and disconnected sequences.
Yeah.
I hated it. Like, the gameplay is just as shitty. There's now one-hit death mechanics that suck.
Yeah.
And you get to the end of the... Here's the thing. I'm going to try to be succinct here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the culty religious Silent Hill. I don't like it. It's not my favorite. Because I don't think it's grounded in enough reality. Where like when you have Silent Hill 2, you have James's personal story, and that's it.
Yeah.
In Silent Hill,
I don't mind it as long as there's rules, which there aren't.
There are no rules in the third one at all.
Yeah.
Like you don't even start in Silent Hill, but there's an other world, which is kind of implied that Claudia is creating this nightmare, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Does that mean she could just do it anywhere? Then you have like the detective who like for some reason he's been following you, and it's like it's acted poorly. You go home to your dad and Harry's just dead. He doesn't have any involvement in the game.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, the game's like 4 hours. It's weird. I don't get it.
That's why the UFO ending in this one is the best one.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it rectifies all that, and did you watch this one?
I didn't. I never got it when I played it.
So Heather comes home and Harry's alive.
Okay.
And he's drinking tea with an alien. And he's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, all this stuff happened." He's like, "I'm going to Silent Hill and kick some ass or something." And it shows him like James is also there, like, and presuming that these endings are overlapping. And then James is like holding a board that he just like karate chops, and it shows like them and like the aliens like destroying Silent Hill.
Why do I feel like that almost makes more sense than like what they tried to? Oh, hey, it's a stupid alien experiment. Great.
And then that's it.
I mean, was that it for the third game? Like, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, in the comments, I want to know why this is a fan favorite, because I really did not like any of it at all. Because the gameplay is not better. The symbolism and stuff is not better. The story's not better. The voice acting is arguably worse.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a stupid resolution. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't even know what do you grade this? I don't know.
What do I grade it?
I don't know.
Shit.
For me, it's a C-, a D. I don't know.
I was going to say like maybe a 5.
I mean... I think it,
I don't know. Like in terms of, I was really kind of on autopilot for this one.
Me too. Totally.
I want to say that I'm glad I played these 3.
Mm-hmm.
Big kind of empty hole in my gaming to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised for the audience. We are at some point going to talk about the other games, not right now. We just wanted to address the main ones. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fun down the road when we address those.
Yeah, so we're just going to do the trilogy for now, right in time for Halloween. There are a lot of Silent Hill games after this, and there's a lot to talk about. It's not necessarily good, but you know, I'm glad you played these for the first time. I feel like it's almost like gaming academia. Like, you got to see it.
Yeah,
it's like you never played these. They're a huge part of gaming history. And
you gotta do your homework.
Yeah, and listen, you guys can quote me all day on the internet. There were only 2 good Silent Hill games.
Okay.
The first one and the second one. I think that's gonna do for this. Did you have any other final thoughts before we close this out?
No,
thank God. Yeah, me either. Yeah, Silent Hill 3 sucks.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you next time.